what it's like to walk on alien worlds so bizarre, they'd make even Elon Musk raise an eyebrow. You may not know, but the facts show. Earth's life is just one narrow possibility out of billions. So buckle up because you're messing around on Ypa, a frozen hell world orbiting a dim red dwarf, where even the water is black and the residents don't see you coming. You step off the portal pad and instantly feel the eerie pressure of a world stuck between eternal darkness and never-ending dusk. The Eye of Ypa, as scientists call it, is the one calm ring where the day side melts into stormy, shallow oceans. You plunge into the water, expecting cold, but nope. There's a weird, slimy warmth. Everything here is black. Black plants, black mud, black water. Why? Because under a weak red dwarf, black absorbs the most light, just like those Vanna-Black jackets influencers flex on Instagram. Suddenly something slithers past your leg. You spin, heart pounding, but you can't see it, because nothing here has eyes. Instead, the jungle vibrates with noise, sharp pings, deep rumbles, rippling hums. Here, creatures fight, hunt, and love using nothing but touch and sound. Fun fact, even on Earth, some cave fish have evolved to live completely blind, navigating with vibrations. Makes you wonder, what would it feel like to live with no sight, only sound? Could you survive here, or would you panic and thrash your way into a predator's jaws? You try to stand still, but a rustle nearby turns out to be not a rustle, but the rustler. A patch of leaf-like arms wraps around one of the grazing fish creatures, yanking it into the mud. The jungle pretends to be itself, because here, the top predator has learned to camouflage as the scenery. That reminds you, did you know there's still debate about whether octopuses on Earth are too smart, possibly alien-like? Their ability to mimic, camouflage, and problem-solve is so advanced some scientists call them aliens of the deep. Do you think intelligence could evolve in a place like Ypa, or is it locked in a never-ending game of eat or be eaten? As you swim deeper, a cluster of spike bulbs crackles with toxic snaps. They're not hunting you, but your skin tingles with the realization that even a brush against them could be fatal. There's a quirky side note here. Remember David Bowie's infamous line, "Is there life on Mars?" Well, forget Mars. This place sings. Literally. Every creature contributes to an endless jungle chorus that might go on for billions of years unless something cataclysmic interrupts it. So here's the twist. As stable as Ypa seems, is it actually trapped? With no new energy, no new threats, will this world ever evolve beyond its eternal black ocean? Or will it just keep replaying its underwater symphony forever? Suddenly you feel the pressure shift. The blind creepers have noticed you. Long, sinuous forms, coiling through the water, sensing every ripple you make. You hold your breath, heart racing, but they close in anyway. You glance nervously at the portal device strapped to your suit. Should you risk one last look or punch out before you become part of this ecosystem's food chain? Would you be brave enough to stay and observe? Or does the thought of those unseen jaws make you hit the panic button? With a shuddering snap, the portal yanks you back to safety, leaving only the sounds of Ypa's eternal music echoing in your ears. But don't relax yet. We're headed somewhere even stranger next. You barely have time to catch your breath before the portal flashes again. And bam, you're weightless, floating in the blinding glare of Carulius, a massive blue giant star. You shield your eyes, squinting through your helmet's filters, and realize you're drifting over Nimbus, a gas giant swaddled in billowing white clouds the size of entire countries. It's like staring into the whipped cream top of a cosmic milkshake. Except this milkshake is scorching hot, stormy, and home to alien monsters. You sink into the upper cloud layers, feeling the humid, electrified air buzz against your suit. Billions, yes, billions, of tiny plankton-like life forms drift all around you, glowing faintly yellow from the sulfur they consume. They're so small they ride the gentlest breezes. But here's the twist. They aren't just passive passengers. These minuscule creatures have evolved wispy electrostatic threads, thinner than spider silk, to grab onto the electric charge differences in the clouds and lift themselves. It's like watching an army of microscopic kite surfers in the sky. And you showed up just in time for the party. It's mating season, and the sky plankton are joining their threads together, forming enormous parachute-like structures that spiral upward in the roaring updrafts. You drift past tangled clusters of creatures, their delicate threads shimmering in the blue light. But don't let their cuteness fool you. Others are lurking nearby. Jet squids, frog-sized predators, dart between the clouds, ready to pierce and drain any unlucky hatchlings. On Earth, we're fascinated by vampire bats. Well, these guys are the vampire hummingbirds of Nimbus, sipping nectar from anything that floats too slowly. Here's a fun aside. Did you know there's still public debate about whether giant squid on Earth have ever killed humans? Stories of sailors yanked overboard by massive tentacles fuel sea monster legends. But on Nimbus, the sky whales put even our tallest sea tails to shame. Picture this. Creatures as tall as skyscrapers, made almost entirely of paper-thin gas bladders, floating gracefully in the endless sky. They trap hot gas, making themselves lighter than air, and drift on the currents. But here's the kicker. They survive by casting enormous sticky nets down into the cloud layers, filtering out tiny sky plankton. Like blue whales slurping up krill, these giants need a constant flow of food just to stay afloat. You hover, watching one of these behemoths unfurl its net, catching shimmering golden plankton, and sucking them into its lower body. But there's a twist coming. See those tiny, darting shapes trailing behind? Jet squids again, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. They can't stay aloft for long, but they don't need to. With superheated gas bursts, they rocket forward like missiles, stabbing their needle-like beaks into the sky whale's gas-filled body to steal the precious nectar stored inside. There are still people arguing about whether intelligence in nature must be tied to long lifespans and stable environments. But Nimbus doesn't have time for that luxury. Its parent star, Carulius, is burning through its fuel at an insane rate. In just 10 million more years, barely a blink in cosmic time, the whole system will destabilize, and the gas giant will be scorched to nothingness. So here's the question. Is it more tragic or more amazing that life here evolved so quickly, only to face a doomed, short-lived existence? Is it better to burn bright and fast, or never at all? Your sensors beep. Your jetpack's fuel is running low. Do you risk staying a bit longer, drifting through the clouds, feeling the vibrations of this living sky as it shudders under the weight of its dying star? Or do you retreat, knowing that one wrong gust could throw you into a jet stream feeding frenzy? You hesitate for just a second longer, watching a baby sky whale lift off from a nursery of tangled clouds, then hit the return button. The portal snaps open. Time to face your final, and perhaps most bizarre, stop. The portal opens one last time, and you're instantly hit with a crackling hum, like a radio stuck between stations. Welcome to Monnier, a tiny moon orbiting the massive brown dwarf Orsted. You shiver as you step onto the surface, even in your insulated suit. The gravity is feather light, the atmosphere razor thin, and the average temperature? Brutally cold, with dry ice literally snowing from the sky. But the sky. Oh, the sky. Above you, vast green, blue, and red auroras dance in shimmering ribbons, lit by Orsted's mind-bendingly powerful magnetic field. You stare up, momentarily hypnotized, when suddenly the ground beneath your boots twitches. Crystalline fissures split open, and a rainbow of strange liquids ooze out. Welcome to Monnier's version of spring. Here's the twist. Life on this moon doesn't use water as its core fluid. It's all ammonia, baby. That's because water freezes too quickly, while ammonia stays liquid in these extreme temperatures. You watch in amazement as brittle, bundled sky flowers unravel themselves from the rocky ground. But they don't just grow. They levitate, shooting upward toward the setting star, pulled up by magnetic minerals woven through their stems. These plants are so saturated with metals that they use Ørsted's magnetic field like a sky elevator, rising a full kilometer into the thin air to catch every last ray of daylight before the next fast-moving night. Did you know that on Earth, some birds, bees, and even lobsters can detect magnetic fields? Well, life here didn't just detect them. It evolved to ride them. As you glide across the surface, careful not to bounce too high in the low gravity, you're suddenly surrounded by racing shapes. Skaters, snail-like critters with shiny shells, zoom across the ground faster than a sprinter, using twin stalks on their heads to fly magnetic kites. They form a symbiotic bond with photosynthetic microbes that coat their shells. Here's the quirky twist. The skaters must keep moving constantly to keep their microbial partners in sunlight. Stop too long, and both freeze to death. Sounds a bit like modern life, doesn't it? Always running to keep the engine going? But hold up, there's a darker side to this pretty landscape. Without warning, the ground in front of you explodes. A massive spiked claw erupts, snatching a skater mid-dash and crushing it with metallic precision. You stare, frozen, as a monstrous creature, somewhere between a beetle and a sea lion, rises from a hidden burrow. These ambushers spend most of their lives buried under the crystalline crust, extending electric-sensitive whiskers to detect the magnetic pulses of passing prey. They strike with perfect timing, like living landmines. There's still public debate among scientists about whether life in extreme environments, like Earth's deep ocean trenches or Monier's magnetic surface, could ever develop intelligence. Is the constant threat of death too high for a species to evolve curiosity, creativity, or self-awareness? Or does adversity fuel evolution, pushing creatures toward breakthroughs we can't even imagine? Here's the twist for you. On Monier, no one has time to ponder existence. Every second counts. Run or be eaten. Move or freeze. Hunt or starve. Would you want to live in a world where stopping for one breath could mean death? As the light fades and the auroras strengthen, you feel your suit vibrate. The portal is warning you. Time's up. But you hesitate. Just a little. Around you, the sky flowers are retreating, folding back into the ground. Skaters flash by in a glittering race against the night. And far away, an ambusher raises its metal-scaled head, sensing your warmth. Do you stay and watch, risking becoming the last scene in this moon's endless cycle? Or do you press the return button, leaving the alien wonders behind before they claim you? With a heavy sigh, you trigger the portal. The world fades, and suddenly, you're back on Earth. You're home, back on Earth. The air feels familiar, the gravity comforting, the sunlight warm, not too dim, not too harsh. After visiting the black, storm-churned oceans of Ypres, the glowing cloud kingdoms of Nimbus, and the magnetic, crystal-laced fields of Monier, our blue planet feels both simple and miraculous. Take a moment to let your breath slow. Picture the blind grazers of Ypres, humming their endless underwater songs, unaware of the vast universe above. Imagine the sky whales of Nimbus drifting in the clouds, gulping down sky plankton while the clock of their dying star ticks down. Recall the metallic flowers and lightning-fast skaters of Monier, racing against the short, freezing days under dazzling auroras. These worlds don't just show us science fiction. They remind us that life, if it exists out there, is probably stranger than anything we've ever imagined. It's humbling, isn't it? Here on Earth, We argue about politics, deadlines, and morning coffee. Out there, alien ecosystems battle physics, chemistry, and time itself. And yet, life finds a way. Maybe the real question isn't if we'll meet aliens, but whether we're ready to understand them when we do. Would we recognize their intelligence? Would we know their beauty? Or would we simply look away, overwhelmed by the vastness of the cosmos? As you settle back into your human life, let these thoughts echo softly in your mind. There's a universe of wonders waiting. For now, rest easy under your familiar sky. But don't stop wondering. Don't stop asking questions. Because one day, just maybe, we'll take that next step. Beyond imagination, beyond Earth, and into the living galaxy.